Alright, good morning. Today's video is going to be another live commentary, this time from the killer's point of view on what you might be thinking or what you might need to be going through on your first few killer games of Dead by Daylight. Now, I did a survivor version of this video already, but now we're going to do the killer version. Now, this is going to be, again, a kind of a guide, a walkthrough based on the assumption or based on the standpoint of someone who has already done the tutorial in the game, maybe has some very basic knowledge of the game, but I just want to talk through some of what I'm thinking while I'm playing. Oh, hello, Naughty Bear. You talk so much. Sorry. I just want to go through some of the thought process of what's happening while you're playing your first two killer games, and what you need to keep in mind, what you're going to be doing, all that stuff. So first off, in every version of the game, you'll have at least the 5 starting killers. That's Trapper through Huntress. If you have DLC family sharing or something else, you might have a few others. There's a lot of DLCs you can buy, obviously, but we're going to start off with these killers, and we're going to take perks that either come from those starting killers or come from the default blood web. So, I guess first of all, just in case you don't already know this, every killer has a unique power. Every survivor is the same, but each killer is unique. They have a specific power. The Trapper's is, you can place traps down around the map. Fitting, right? You have 4 perks you can choose, just like the survivors have 4 perks they can choose. We're going to go ahead and use Sloppy Butcher, which slows their healing. We're also going to use Nurse's Calling, which makes it so we can see the aura of survivors who are healing. We're going to take Brutal Strength, one of the Trapper's own perks. This helps you kick stuff faster. And we're going to take Agitation, another Trapper perk, which helps you move faster while carrying someone. Now for add-ons, Trapper has a lot of good, rare add-ons, these red and purple ones up here. Personally, I like to go with the purple Trapper Sack and the purple Tension Spring, but for now, since we're gonna, this is a more beginner guide, we're gonna start with the Trapper Bag, which lets you carry 3 traps instead of 2, and the Rusted Jaws, which will, again, make injured survivors, or survivors who are injured by your traps, take longer to heal. This, paired with Sloppy Butcher, paired with Nurses, has some good synergy between your perks, which is what you kind of want to be targeting when you're making a build for your killer. And with that, let's ready up and see what we get. While we're waiting for our first game, we'll talk through some big picture things that I've mentioned in the other videos. Dead by Daylight, really when you go down to the fundamental level, is a game of time efficiency. The killer has to get 12 hook stages before the survivors finish 5 of the 7 generators, right? So it's all about managing your time. And from the killer's perspective, it's all about interrupting the survivors and giving them more things to do. In this case, Trapper's a very, very basic killer, considered one of the worst killers in the game, really. But, he can really snowball very quickly by people stepping in his traps when they're, at a bad spot. So we'll see if we can take advantage of that this time. When it comes to the Trapper, he moves at 4.6 meters a second, which is standard speed for killers, where the survivors move at 4.0 meters per second. So we call survivors 100% speed, and the Trapper is at 115% movement speed. Now that means he's okay in chase, but he doesn't really have, his power doesn't really help him in chase. So you have to be kind of tricky with how you mind game survivors around pallets and tiles and try and misdirect them into your hands. Trapper is the poster boy for DBD, but he's not always he's definitely considered one of the weaker ones, one of the weaker killers. All right, we're loading in on Sanctum of Wrath. God, this guy loves to yell.
They won't feel a thing, Naughty, only pain.
Thank you, Naughty Bear. So you'll notice Trapper does not start with all his traps. He starts with, in this case, with my add-on, 3 of them. We're going to go ahead and put one right here on Killer Shack. And we're going to go ahead and pick this one up. Collect. And we're going to put one by the exit gate, just so I know later on in the game if someone is trying to open that gate. Now, again, there are 7 generators on the map. Usually, with Trapper, you want to start picking a certain area you really want to defend. However, with the basic perks, it's a little hard to do that efficiently. So, we're probably going to lose several generators before we're done setting up. Now, other killers can go straight into chase, but Trapper has got to pick up his traps. They're laying all around the map. You want to have a good setup. We see 2 people here, or at least 1 person here. And nice. We got the hit on Yui. We break the pallet pretty quickly. We're going to go ahead and kick this gen. Since none of our perks help us slow down generator progress, I will be kicking a lot of gens. We see another person here. We heard the progress. I'm going to go ahead and pick that. We see Lori running away. I'm going to actually put a trap right here, just in case they don't see it. Maybe we'll get an easy catch. Oh, we see 2 people healing. That's what Nurse is calling. We're going to go straight there and trying to interrupt them. They got it off just in time, but because of Sloppy Butcher, it took them a couple extra seconds. Now, Meg ran away really quickly for a moment. You saw that? That's because she has Sprint Burst. But we're able to catch up to her anyway, since we just move faster. Let's go ahead and put a trap here. And let's go ahead and pick this one up. They finished that far gen. Oh, we caught someone. Let's pick this up. So we're probably not going to make it there in time before they escape from there, but at least they'll be injured now. We hear someone here, and we got our first down. So it's very important. You really need to have headphones for killer. You got to be listening at all times to people's footsteps, to everything. It'll really help you give you a better sense of direction. Now, because Trapper's very weak, and I'm not exactly in a starting MMR matchmaking rating, all the survivors obviously know how to efficiently use their time. So that's why all these gens are popping. So now that we at least caught someone, it's our chance to snowball things a little bit. We're gonna put traps around the hook. We hear someone walking, and we hear her behind the tree. They get the unhook. We're gonna go for Lori. She's kind of in an area I like. Unfortunately, she got past me. Yubi's trying to disarm this trap, but wasn't able to. It takes a few seconds. But since that trap is there, she's kind of just stuck here. We'll get the hit. And we'll chase her down. We see someone healing on the left side. We see someone healing, so we're actually going to go interrupt them. I know they have a slow heal because of Sloppy Butcher and because of the add-on we were using. And we were able to interrupt it. Nice. So if we didn't have Sloppy Butcher there, she might have been able to finish the heal. So we got some value out of that perk. Now you don't want to leave someone on the ground for that long. Lugged, as we say, because someone can come help them up. Or they might have Unbreakable, which they can pick themselves up from the ground. So click her over here. Looks like we caught someone up here. Very nice, another injury. So here's the thing about killer. Obviously, it's a killer-sided game. And even though they were completely beating me... Oh my gosh, I missed. Even though they were completely beating me a few minutes ago, we're very much catching up to them. We were able to trick Meg a little bit, kind of misdirect her. And we got the down. But yeah, what I was saying is that it's very easy for killers to make a comeback in this game. We were at 1 gen left with no one on hook, basically. And now we have almost everyone injured. Everyone's in the same spot. We're going to hide our red stain and swing around the corner. So because I did that little turn before I came through the pallet, Yui didn't see me coming. Or she couldn't react quickly enough. And because we have agitation, we were actually able to catch up to Lori there. Usually when you're carrying someone, you can't catch up to them. You can't catch up to another survivor. But because we have agitation, we were able to walk fast enough to do that. Now, Something very dangerous I did there is walk through the pallet. If Lori was ready, she could have dropped that pallet on me, and I would have been stunned and dropped Yui. But thankfully, she was not there for that. And look at that, we are catching up. We are catching up. We're going to reset this trap. Just like that. They finished the last gen, and we see someone running next to me. Kate had adrenaline, so she healed with adrenaline, has a speed boost. She's going to go for the unhook. Hopefully I can at least hit her in time. I'll take the one hit. Yui's trying to body block a little bit. Yui also had adrenaline, but they were not able to take the hit for her. Let's leave her there for a moment. And go for... Let's go for Lori. Because I think we can catch her here. We'll hit Meg. Lori's running towards the spot of the map where I have traps. She ran around it. Oh, well done, well done. We're gonna misdirect her, and she got a little change of direction. Really forced her to step in the trap. Unfortunately for her. Looks like the other survivor is still on the ground. And they picked her up. Lori's dead now. Okay, so as killer, you can see the aura of the exit gates. I'm gonna go straight here. I'm gonna go straight here. Now we have a trap on the other exit gate, so we'll know if they start trying to open that one. We'll injure Yui just so she can't take a hit for anyone else. We hear someone here. I'm gonna hide my red stain. I'm gonna moonwalk around a little bit. And that was enough to confuse Kate a bit. So we got Kate down. We're gonna pick her up right away. She has boil over, which makes it harder to carry her, but we have agitation. So we'll put her right here. She's on her last life. Let's see. I don't see anyone else. That trap is still open, so we know no one's opening the other gate yet. We'll pick this up and reset it right here. Now, something you need to keep in mind as killer, this is new for the last few months. During the game, if you are close to the person on hook, they're gonna fill up what's called their anti-camp meter. So if you camp a survivor for too long, they will eventually be able to unhook themselves. But in the end game, once the exit gates are powered, they can't do that anymore. Yui's here, and she's injured. So we'll try and go for her. And she stepped in it. Very nice. So those traps we placed at the beginning of the game paid off. Now that hook is gone because once someone dies, their hook leaves. Sounds like they were able to open the other gate. And we're gonna leave here with 2 kills, which is not too bad for a trapper with basic free perks. So let's see, what's the biggest takeaway from this game? Personally, I think the biggest takeaway is that as killer, you are never too far from a comeback. It is very, very easy for killers to snowball the game. As you saw, we were completely getting our butts kicked. And then, what, 60 seconds later, completely turned it around. Right? So, don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. Just try and be efficient. Here's the hatch. So Kate's probably going to escape over there. But if she were on this side, she could have jumped through that hatch as well. Alright, so we started off with the poster boy, Trapper. Let's shift in the complete other direction now. We're going to try the killer with the hardest, or the highest skill cap in the game, the Nurse. Now, I don't recommend trying her, but I know some of you will. I don't recommend her using her first, but I know some of you will, right? So we'll go ahead and at least the same big picture concepts apply to her, just like they do to every other killer. Time management and all that good stuff. So, what perks should we use on Nurse? I'm gonna try and use some of the more free perks. So we'll use Nurses Calling to show their auras when they're being healed. We are going to use Agitation again, and we're going to take this perk called, this is not a free perk. You'll have to get the Artist DLC to get it, but we're going to take Pain Res. It is one of the most popular perks in the game, so you'll definitely want it eventually if you become a killer player. And there'll be 4 specific white hooks on the map when you use those. The first time you hook a survivor on there, it'll damage the generator, and we'll use agitation to better get to those hooks. And for our last perk, we're going to use one of the free ones that everyone can get, called Bitter Murmur. So this will show survivor's aura every time a generator is completed. For add-ons, we'll just go with her cooldown add-ons. Keep it simple, nothing too fancy. Now, in terms of offerings for killers, it's basically the same as survivors. You have blood point offerings, you have map offerings. Killers also have what's called Moris, which allows you to kill 1 through 4 survivors if you want at the end of the game with certain conditions. But anyway, we're just gonna bring blood points because blood points are nice. Now, the trapper gameplay is something that applies to basically every other killer in the game. The concept of chasing someone down, trying to mind game around a wall, hide your red stain around the wall. The nurse is kind of the opposite, where none of what you'll learn, any of the other killers applies to nurse. Well, a lot of it doesn't, but I guess more accurately, the things you learn on Nurse don't really apply to any of the other killers. So Nurse can teleport through walls, can ignore pallets, basically. He is the most unique killer in the game. That being said, it's still, again, the big picture remains the same, where it's all about time management and stopping the survivors from finishing 5 gens. So even though you'll be seeing me flying around the map, I'll try and keep the big picture in mind while we do this. So we spawned on this corner of the map, and the survivors will tend to spawn on points that are further away from you. Again, it's something that you'll just have to learn over time, kind of get the feel. I feel like they're over here. And there's a Nicolas Cage. We're gonna blink once. We're gonna follow him, and we're gonna get him there. So by default, Nurse has 2 blinks. I won't get too much into the Nurse gameplay in this video. We'll probably make another one eventually, but here we go. A nice quick chase. And here is one of the white hooks, the pain resonance hooks. And we're gonna go ahead and use it. And you'll see the indicator on the top right of the screen. Damage generator means that we did damage someone's generator. And we also heard someone scream, which means that someone was on the generator while it exploded. Now, it's interesting that there's progress on those 2. I didn't see anyone there, but we do see someone here. So let's give her a chase. Someone just got the unhook. She's gonna go up here. She made the window before I could get her. That's alright. Let's see where she goes next. I see her scratch marks, so following her scratch marks, we see they're getting brighter in this direction. That's something that'll take some getting used to as well. It's kind of hard for me with telling, when you stumble upon random scratch marks, which direction they're going. I hear progress upstairs, and I see Maria here. I'm actually going to go upstairs now, because I hear a lot of generator progress. But unfortunately for her, she just fell in my lap. I was going to say, unfortunately, I didn't make it upstairs, but a free hit, I don't mind. Now, hopefully, we'll be able to pick her up and get on that white hook to damage the generator with the most progress. And we will. And I see an explosion from the generator up there, so I know that that's the one that had the most progress. At least it did. I'm gonna go up here. I heard someone fall down with a scream. Survivors make a little scream when they fall, so I'm gonna go back down here. And we see a bunch of scratch marks, and there's Yui. Someone just got the unhook, but I can't blink through there. Sorry, blink is what the nurse's teleport is called. You see 2 people healing. We're gonna go for Nick Cage, just because I don't want to be mean and target the same person twice. If it gets to the point of the game where you're really struggling to keep up with the survivors, then yeah, what you'll want to be doing is going to a spot where you know there's at least 1 survivor there. Ah, missed. I'm going to give us a quick kick. I'm worried about the generator up there, but it doesn't sound like it's finishing yet. We're just going to hook Nick right here because we already used our pain resonance token from him. This gen is regressing. I'm going to go upstairs. I hear someone working up there. They left right before me. So when a survivor is working on a generator, you can hear it making some more mechanical noises than if someone wasn't working on it. Here's Jane. She ran into a wall. And we got her down pretty quickly. Now she has not been hooked yet. Ooh, 2 gens popped. Okay, okay. And we see their aura. We see someone healing right there, so that's where we're gonna go next. That was Bitter Murmur. And now we have Nurse's Calling going off. And we can go right to him. Now, look. Usually, if it's me, I wouldn't hook this guy yet. But since we're just trying to showcase how to play killer, we are going to go ahead and kill Nicolas Cage. Now, I don't really like to because I feel like it's a little mean to kill someone off that easily, or that quickly in the game. But if you were new to this game, that's what you should be doing. If you get a chance to kill someone that easily, go ahead and do it. Now, we're not going to chase Jane. We're going to chase Yui. Again, because I don't like to follow people right off the hook. So I'll go for Yui instead. And she should be on her last life now. Oh no, she has 2 more lives left. That was another pain res stack, our last one. So now we will not have pain res left for the rest of the game. That's alright, we got value out of it. This gen is progressing. What do we do? I don't know where anyone's at, so I'm gonna go back to hook. At least I know that there's 2 people in this direction. I hear someone crying. There she is. Even though I couldn't see her, I assumed you'd be going for that pallet, and I was right. So that's something you can keep in mind. Let's leave her now and go to this gen. Ooh, she had sprint burst. She was able to make it out. Well played by the Maria. Let's try and zone her. I hear her this way. And I hear someone on this gen. But I couldn't quite get there. Let's stick on Maria for now. Okay, Jane. I mean, Jane just wanted to walk in front of me, so I'll take that. I could go for 2 of them. Actually, I'm going to do it. Alright. If I could get the quick down there, I would, but we'll just pick up Jane. We'll just pick her up. I don't want to be slugging everyone on the ground right now. Now Jane is on her last life. We saw Yui run that way and Maria run this way. This gen had a lot of progress, so I'm gonna guess Maria's gonna go back to this one. Looks like I was incorrect, but it'll give us a chance to kick it. Hear someone crying. And I can't hear them anymore. Unfortunately, I can't hear them anymore. We know there's 2 people over there, so let's look and see. They're healing. We'll go for the healthy person, just to give everyone else a chance to breathe. Now, Nurse is the only killer in the game that walks lower than the survivor, okay? That's why you see them getting a lot of distance from me when I'm not blinking or teleporting. Now, again, there, I was able to predict where you would be going, because survivors typically tend to want to run towards these pallets and windows, right? To these little jungle gyms. And so even if you lose line of sight for them for a moment, you can kind of predict where they're trying to head, where they're trying to go. And that's something that's useful for any killer. there at the unhook, but here's someone. And there we go, another hook. I should kick that generator, but I'm not too stressed about it. And Nurse is a very... so I'm not too stressed about kicking every gen. But in this case, when there's only 2 left, it might be a smart decision to, but instead I'm going to go over here. Don't see anyone here. Trying to see if I get any aura reading from Nurse's calling, or hear any crying from the injured survivors. But I see Yui in the distance, and I couldn't quite teleport where I wanted to. We saw her running this way, so let's try and cut her off. I hear her somewhere. There she is. Yeah, so the sounds of injured survivors are very directional. They're very, very important to be listening when you're playing killer. Where is she going? Where is she going? We see scratch marks. Unfortunately for them, Maria died on hook. There she is. Wasn't quite able to make it there. Our blink is recharging. There we go. And that should be it for Yui. Sorry, Yui. Now, with the last person alive, in my opinion, you should almost always give the last person the hatch or the exit gate, because I don't need the four kills. You've already won, right? So in my opinion, like, just give the last person the hatch. Just let them escape. A little mercy. A little mercy never hurt anyone, but I know, a lot of the killer mains are like, I must kill every survivor no matter what. Anyway, let's see if we can find Jane and take her to the hatch or to the exit gate. After you close the gate, or after you close the hatch as killer, the exit gates can be opened by the survivors. Even if they didn't finish all the gens, once you close the hatch, they can open the exit gate. The killer can only open it before the hatch is closed and if all the generators are powered. So even though the gameplay of Nurse is very different from the other killers, you see a lot of the time management aspects and the awareness, the game sense is still very applicable, both for Nurse and for other killers. Alright, and for our last game, we're gonna go to the last free killer, who happens to be my main, as you can tell from my profile pictures, the Huntress. Don't mind her outfit, she went to the beach today. Alright, and for the last game, we're going to use some other perks. Some of my favorite ones that are not free, not from the free characters. So we have Lethal Pursuer, which shows the auras of the survivors at the beginning of the game. You have Darkness Revealed, which shows the auras of the survivors every time I open a locker. You have Floods of Rage and Pain Resonance. So again, we'll have white hooks this game, Pain Res for the to damage generators, and Floods to show survivors' auras after they are unhooked. Two add-ons I'll be using are a decreased wind-up time and increased hatchet speed. Now again, in the same way, Huntress has a very unique gameplay, has a very unique power, right? But the big picture concepts stay the same, and so we'll be talking through those as we go. They're taking us to RPD. There's some Resident Evil fans in there. So, some killers are more map dependent than others. Huntress is considered a pretty map dependent killer because she needs to throw things at the survivors. She throws hatchets at the survivors, yeah. In this case, I don't mind this map because there are a lot of lockers, which will get value out of our Darkness Revealed perk, but it's definitely not the best one for her, so we'll see what we do. Since we have Lethal Pursuer, first thing I'm going to do is check to see how many auras we have. We have 4 auras, which means no one is using the distortion perk to hide their auras from me. And we're gonna go, I'm actually gonna see if I can cut this person off here. Wasn't able to. I was hoping they would drop down in front of me or be standing on that ledge. Instead, I'm gonna head upstairs. Usually I just try to go to where there are the most survivors. So if there's one survivor in one corner and 3 in the other, obviously I'll go to the 3. Figured she wouldn't drop that pallet there because she just wanted to drop it right away. We see someone running here. I figured she would dodge to the left. We have one more hatchet. I might not be able to make it around this corner. Let's see where he goes. Is he going to drop this pallet? Maybe? Maybe? Oh, he got stuck. He got stuck. And I missed. That's unfortunate. Oh, but he tried to fake it. He tried to fake it, but he couldn't quite trick me into that. So we were able to get him. And here we have, perfect, a white hook. So on the white hooks, the scourge hooks as they're called, I have Pain Resonance, and Floods of Rage. And unlike Pain Resonance, which has 4 tokens, Floods of Rage can be used every time. So I will be going for these white hooks every single time I can. You'll notice there I couldn't quite find the downed survivor, but I could hear her through the wall. Again, that's why sound is very important in this game. And with those 2 scourge hooks, we've now done at least, or at most, 50% damage to a generator, or to the 2 most progressed generators. We see their aura with Floods of Rage, we see her aura again with Floods of Rage, and we're able to get her down here. Now, do we have... let's see, we'll just take her... This is something you'll just gain by experience, but I think I can make it to this hook. I hope I can make it to this hook. There we go. Barely, barely, barely. We almost wiggled off. So I have 4 out of my 5 hatches left, but I'm going to reload so I can get Darkness Revealed activated. And we see 2 people down there because they were within range of a locker. I'm going to hop down this way, a little shortcut. We see someone run in. I was a little too soon. I was a little too early. But let's give Nia a chase. I'm surprised she didn't drop that right away, but that's probably good for her. I think she dropped it this time, though. No? Can't get her through the bookcase, unfortunately. So, in this case, when you're stuck in a good loop like this as a killer, it's best to just go for them until they drop the pallet. At some point, they're going to have to drop it. Or take the hit. And, it's better to just run through it. And then you gotta do a little mind game. I pretend to go that way, and then run her off this way, so... Not bad. So here's something interesting. Oh no, we've already hooked her, so never mind. I was looking for a Pain Res token to get used up, but it didn't happen. We see on someone's aura with Darkness Revealed. I'm gonna keep an eye on her. She's up there. It looks like she's going to be staying still. But, so here's something important. You really want to protect... There are certain generators on the map that are more important than others. In my opinion, in RPD, these ones here in the main lobby are very important. Because if you lose these ones, it will become much more difficult to defend a small area at the end of the game. So I really don't like to lose these gens. I'm gonna zone him. Tried to get him when he finally crossed, but I wasn't able to. We'll go ahead and chase this Vittorio, since we know he's our last Pain Resonance stack. Waited for him to crouch, then waited for him to stand up from the crouch. Works out perfect. And we have a hook over here, which we should be able to make it to. So again, in case it was unclear, Floods of Rage is a Scourge Hook perk, which will activate anytime someone is unhooked from these white Scourge Hooks. And that's anytime they're unhooked, not just the first time. You see David here. Didn't quite get him through the fence. He has a good dodge. I tried to switch up my timing with that one, and it worked, but I didn't aim it correctly. You want to be a little unpredictable as killer. So even though, yeah, I'm throwing hatchets, but it kind of applies to the same thing in any chase, right? Where you want to mix up, you don't want to be running a tile the same way every time, if that makes sense. You don't want to fake your direction every single time the same way, because they'll start to catch on. And similarly, you as a killer need to catch on to survivors' tendencies. Are they someone that tends to fake pallets? Are they someone that tends to immediately pre-drop a pallet? Are they, you know, do they loop around twice and then drop it? Things like that will help you as you go on. So it's a very important part about killer, especially Huntress. You gotta learn how the survivors want to play. Now, they ran away from there, and there's not many gens in that direction. This one was almost done, so I'm pretty sure Kate's gonna be back here. And she is. And she got stuck. I'm going to throw my hatchet at her, because it has a shorter cooldown for me. At least, in certain circumstances. I'm gonna try and make it again to this white hook. To this scourge hook. Again, so the takeaway there is that you need to have the game sense for which generators are about to be finished. And I could hear a lot of progress on that one. Or more progress than it had when I was last there. So I knew someone was going to be on it. I see someone standing there. I'm going to wind up my hatchet and then throw, but they're just camping that pallet and they're not doing that gen, which is good. They're healing. I'm not too worried about that right now. I want to worry about this generator here. Again, because it's very important to me. We see Vittorio hiding around the corner. I'm going to pretend I didn't see him. But he ran away. It's fine. Let's give this guy a kick. Vittorio seems the type to be running away a lot, so I don't think he's going to go back on that generator immediately. I am worried about this guy going straight to this one. David seems to be a little bit more aggressive. Oh, I almost got him under the pallet. He got stuck there a little bit, and as soon as you see them get stuck, you need to take advantage of that. I don't have a good... Oh, I do have a good scourge hook to make it to. Vittorio's still walking around, so you see how you want to take notice of those tendencies. Vittorio's not an aggressive player. Which means he probably wasn't going to finish this generator. He could have stuck on this gen and finished it before I got back there. But instead, they're upstairs right now, working on this one, which is fine. And he's going to sprint burst away. So the reason he was walking a lot is because he has sprint burst on him. We'll kick this guy again. And I'm assuming someone's about to get the unhook. No, they're gonna commit to finishing the generator, I think. No, they didn't. And I missed. No, I got it. I'm just gonna injure him so he has to mend. Couldn't quite get Nia over there. This gen is still regressing. They didn't even finish. They didn't finish touching that generator up to stop it from regressing, which is huge for me. Someone's healing there. David's mending. See, because I hit him again off hook, even though I didn't want to kill him, it still bought me some time, because it's like 8 more seconds that he has to spend doing something that's not repairing a generator. I could tell that Vittorio wanted to turn left as he was running, so I pre-aimed there and waited for him to make the turn. We know David's here somewhere. So I faked my red stain here to make it look like I was going this way, and he saw that, and so he exited and went this way. Worked out for us. And we're gonna set him up right here. Oh, he's dead. That's good for us, but unfortunate for him. I would have liked to have saved that hook for Vittorio, but I'm stuck. I would like to make it to that white hook, but more importantly, yeah, see, I would have gone for that skirt trick, but I wanted to hopefully make it back to this gen before Kate finished it. But we couldn't quite do that. I'm gonna reload instead of getting into chase with only one hatchet. We see her here. We're gonna pre-aim. We can't hit over this, but she crouched for just long enough. I could have hit her if I had aimed that better. We're just gonna run here and until she drops this pallet, which was thankfully pretty soon. But here's something that's killer. You can play around pallets sometimes, like that, but you really don't want to run around a pallet perpetually. At some point, if it's taking too long, you just gotta break it. Don't feel bad about needing to break the pallet. In a similar note, don't feel bad about needing to drop chase sometimes. You saw me chase some people here, and then turn back to do something else. It's okay if someone is just taking up too much of your time, they're too good at looping you. It's okay to acknowledge that and move on to something better. Something more productive. Good dodge. They're both injured here. We should be able to get both of them here. Unless I really mess it up. See, again, so something we learned from Vittorio, his gameplay style earlier, is that didn't dodge that much earlier. Which means he probably wasn't going to dodge there, so I felt comfortable just tossing the hatchet. We also know he didn't have the perk called Power Struggle, so I was okay to walk through that pallet. Because he was on a pallet there earlier and he didn't use it, so. Again, last survivor. We'll give her the gate or the hatch. That was a pretty good game on RPD. Hopefully it was a little helpful, a little bit of insight into how I personally think through the games as they're going. And again, I am not doing this because I am even close to a great player, but I'm not doing this video because I'm the best. I'm doing it because I still remember what it was like to be the worst. And we're listening for the hatch, and we could hear it was behind this wall, and we put her down there. GG's. GG's. Anyways, hope you all have a great rest of your day. Hopefully this video was at least somewhat helpful. Let me know if you want something more like it, if you hated its style, if you hated something about it, let me know. And if not, take care, y'all.